Hi there. We got four execs now. That means quorum. We can begin the meeting. So I'd like to now call to order SFSS exec meeting Friday, April 5th, 2024 at 1:03 p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and were currently situated on occupied territories. We begin with the roll call. First of all, I am here. He, him, his access needs are just fine. Acting VP Internal does not seem to be present. I will check the participants. No, it is not present. I will go for VP Finance.
Present.
Very, very nice. VP UAA.
I am here, and
Excellent.
he, him, his, all access needs are met.
Thank you. VP External also seems to not be present. I will move on to VP Equity in the chat. Thank you. Next up is VP Events.
Everyone, Zaya pronouns he, him, his, all access needs are met.
Excellent. We can now move on to Society Staff, starting off with Temporary Operations.
I'm here. Pronouns are she, her, hers. Access needs are met.
Fantastic. I don't suppose nobody should not be here. And then Admin Assistants. Inside of the chat, thank you very, very much. We can now begin with the adoption of the agenda. Firstly, I move. Anyone care to second?
Events.
Events seconds, thank you very much. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Do we have any amendments? If not, I will amend something onto the agenda. Oh, Chad, I will take your list.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So as you guys know, I have emailed you all what we're gonna do in regards to the sorry, I'm all over the place right now. In regards to the budget for the next calendar year. No, for the next oh my God. For the next council term. If you remember, during our current council term, the budget was approved 2 weeks into our current term. We want to avoid this for next term. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim to get it approved today. So give me 1 second. I'm going to look in my Gmail for the amendment, and I will post it in the chat. So bear with me, guys.
I have the amendments. I could.
No, I want to do it. 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 I want to do it.
Okay, okay, you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys.
I mean, I could just press enter right
No,
now.
no.
I have a lot to load.
I have it. I have it. I have it. Yes. Okay. I got it. I got it. Okay. There you go, guys.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm going to assume Jad moves. I would like to second, seeking unanimous consent. There is no dissent. Excellent. This has been tacked onto the agenda. Thomas, I'm going to take your list now.
All right, I'm gonna paste into the chat. Uh, uh, Seeing as we don't have time, I was gonna put an in-camera item, mostly just for jokes, but I don't want to waste people's time, so I'm not gonna do that. But just a new business item because we haven't had any community meetings in a while. Um, for UAA, and I wanted to pass money for the free breakfast since we use up all the funding for. I forget the company's name, but so I'll just pass. I'll type it up in the chat.
Oh, is this it?
Oh no, it's almost done. I'm just about to put it in the chat.
Okay. Yep, this looks good to me. If you move, I would like to second it. I'm seeking unanimous consent. There is no dissent. Most excellent. This is also added on to the agenda. While Thomas is looking to paste it in, do we have any other further amendments? It doesn't seem like we do. Okay, then. Well, I'd like to now move on to be it resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. Once again, I'm going to look for unanimous consents. Very nice. Once again, receiving no dissents. We officially have our agenda for today. Let me see. Yep, these are going to be our only two items. Okay. So let's move on to the first item then, which is going to be the approval of the 2024 to 2025 budget. I move. Anyone care to second?
Van.
I hear event second. Thank you. I will read it aloud. Whereas council is required to review and approve a preliminary budget for the next fiscal year, whereas the 2023 to 24 Finance and Administrative Services Committee will also review the preliminary budget for the next fiscal year following the exec committee meeting on April 5th. Be it resolved that exec approves the 2024 to 25 second draft budget as the preliminary budget for council's review. Okay. Do we have any discussions? There's someone at the door. Give me a second. Yes, John, I'll take your list.
Okay, I just want to say, Kurt has a discussion item. Not a discussion item, but the finance staff is to discuss certain aspects of the preliminary budget from what I'm aware of. So I just want to say Kurt has the floor whenever he wants.
Hi, I have one of the execs from next for next term. She just stopped by. This was a bit unexpected. Anyway, she came in because she wanted to ask some questions about
Oh, no, I think Sam just
our next year's budget. Anyway, she's listening in from my computer right now, and if she's going to be asking any questions, she's going to be speaking from my microphone.
Is it
That's
Samar?
going to be okay. Beg pardon?
Is it Samar?
Yes, it's Samar.
Yeah, sorry, nice to meet you. I was just sitting and we were in onboarding and I just wanted to just listen and observe for the next half an hour. I will reach out if I have any questions, but just observing for now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you.
Do we have any further lists? No. So,
Oh, so we're on the motions for asking questions then?
yeah.
Okay. Give me the question to.
I just kind of.
Okay. So when I was curious, I noticed the bursary contribution went down by about $50,000. Okay, I missed your thing. So the question about bursary contributions.
Are you guys able to hear Sam right now? Yeah, I'm assuming so. Sindhu, you have direct response?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bursary contributions were originally the individual departments that wanted to set aside bursaries for however they wanted to distribute it. So we set that aside and we put it under the bursaries line item that we had in general. But over the year, we realized that we actually couldn't distribute it the way we wanted it to because it would be a conflict of interest. So we are no longer proceeding with that. So we already have our bursaries in place. And until we figure out how we can distribute that bursary for those individual needs, we remove that budget. Or those items from that budget. The bursary line item still exists. It just reduced back to the original amount it was the year prior.
Okay. Thanks. And then I have another question for the SOCA line item. I noticed that the coordinator wages decreased by about $20,000. It's just curious about what happened there.
Yes, so do another direct response.
I think maybe Kurt can answer that. I'm not too sure. I just know that our coordinator was previously on leave and is on leave into the new fiscal year. So I'm assuming that's why it's been reduced to be more accurate to reflect the reality of the wages for the next fiscal year. But if Kurt could weigh in on that, that'd be super helpful because I'm not 100% sure.
Kurt?
Yeah, it was budgeted more for last year because the coordinator was on, there was one coordinator on maternity leave, and so they received top up while they're on maternity leave. So there was also, so you're basically paying a coordinator who's on maternity leave, and you're also paying a coordinator who's actually in the position. So that's why it was slightly higher budgeted last year.
Okay, thanks. And then that makes sense. Then this is a bigger piece. I was going to bring this to FAST because I thought it was going to go through there, but this comes from the from the incoming exec, is that we noticed the council expenditures line item increased by nearly $10,000. We wanting to know what happened with that line item. We also, when looking at this, there's like, there wasn't an actual budget for this year, which, do you guys have that as well somewhere? There's two pieces there. Just curious about that item, and then, because I have a follow-up question about another line item.
Yep, Sindhu?
Yeah, this is actually going to go to FASC as well. So Kurt actually sent exec another document with the actuals, so we can send that to FASC as well. So the council expenditures prior to this current year was higher, and we reduced it to significantly. The reason this is here is so that it aligns with policies. So in our member services groups policies, it actually refers to a council top-up line that doesn't exist or exists through council expenditures. So I think you're very well aware of this. We kind of bypass a lot of policies when we allow funding for student groups because they don't necessarily go through the appeal process, which is the only way they should be receiving the funding from the grants line items. So what this allows is for us to follow the member services groups policy and allow council to do top up and allow the future VP Finance to be able to monitor that budget on their own and to be able to provide that information as in, hey, this is all we have as council that we can approve. And that could be spent immediately. So for anything else, such as an appeal, I think going forward, what we want to do is follow the process and policies a little bit more closely and only allow the additional funding if they actually submit the physical appeal to council as per the finance policy. So it's just to allow council to be able to, as you know, we spent $50K solely through council on things that should have actually come from the top up, not through the grants line item. So it was just to kind of reflect the process better.
Okay. That makes
And
sense.
what was your second question?
It was my second one was just about the actuals.
Yes. So Kurt actually does have that document. We can forward that to FASC. The reason we're doing this now is just because in case FASC doesn't meet quorum, we still wanted to consult with executive. So prior to FASC, we'll send that document over as well.
Sorry, I just heard information that the primary budget approval is going to go through here instead. So I just wanted to make sure I still could answer these questions. If we're still going through FASC, then I'll head back down to the exec onboarding for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I brought it to exec because it's like I'm like 50-50. I'm on the edge that FASC is not gonna meet quorum today. So just in case, I want to get this approved at exec. So the next exec team does not go through what our exec team went through, which is where the budget was approved during the term. That's what I wanted to avoid.
Yes, that makes sense. You see me stressed about it right now as well. So
oh yeah, no worries.
In place.
The meeting is still going on. It's still on for 3:30 p.m. today for FASC. I suspect there'll be no quorum. I hope I'm wrong, but just in case, that's why I brought it over here.
Because I know me and Henry were planning on attending, so
okay,
that means with you attending, we need
one more
Thomas or Eden to attend, and we'll have quorum.
I know Eden's not going to attend. They've let me know already. Ashley is not going to attend either because she's away on leave. So it's either me or Liam. If Liam can attend, great. If not, no worries.
I got a lab session at that time.
You have a what?
Oh, a lab set. It's school stuff. I got school stuff at that time.
Okay, no worries. I will attend. And that means that means we're going to have quorum today. This is why I wanted to bring it to exec, because there's a number of people who will not be able to come. So I wanted to avoid that. So okay. If it goes according to plan, yes, we're going to have FASC today, and we're going to go over the budget at FASC and approve it there too.
All right. And then, yeah, all my other questions are just related to based on the actuals, because we noticed the council retreat orientation and development line item seems small. We're also trying to do an exec retreat, and because I know that's something mentioned in policy a lot, but it doesn't have its own line item.
I can, I believe Kurt can maybe shine some more light on this, but I would say likely because we've been spending quite a bit. Because, for example, when it came to like funding for clubs and DSUs, we actually went over budget for that. Mm-hmm. So unless I'm wrong, I believe it's because we went over budget already, and we didn't even go on our exec retreat this year. Mm-hmm. So that's my kind of guess, but maybe Kurt can fill me in on that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, could you just repeat the question? I was looking at something else and I didn't hear what your question was.
It was just about the executive retreat line item, because an executive retreat is mentioned in policy as something that we do, as well as a council retreat. Both are things that are being looked forward to as important things for the next year. And I was just looking at that budget, and it's also for like the orientation and council development over the year. It seems like it's a lot of things in one line item. If all four of those pieces, because we don't have an exec retreat line item specifically. And at FASC, if depending on what the actuals showed for the other line items, I was gonna try to make that into its own line item, but I want to get like what was the reasoning for not having an exec retreat line item?
Well, I don't know the reason why there was zero spent this year in that line. So no dollars were spent. But if you're asking why they've combined all three of those items in one line, I don't remember why it was decided to do that, but that was just a decision by previous councils, or not councils, but boards to just combine those three items into one line item.
Yes, Cindy, direct response.
Yeah, it's usually because those events like happen one after the other, and it's really focused on the orientation. So it's if there's any associated costs with the orientation, such as going on a retreat or having a retreat, it's coming from there. And there's also a conferences line item, so it's to differentiate from that. So I think if there was a specific need to separate that out, we can look into it, but I personally don't see the need to have different line items for that. It's the same. I don't think we haven't changed the budget from last year, so that's still the same. And yeah, I think it's all utilized for like the same purpose, or at least the same kind of thing that's going to happen within the same month. So if you had any thoughts on why it should be separate line items, then I think we can look into that. But yeah, I think that's been that way for quite a few years, and it's always been fairly straightforward.
Are you execs planning on the exec retreat?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why. The reasoning behind it was we're planning on doing an exec retreat at the beginning of the year for the incoming executive team. And the line item only refers to a council retreat. And so if we're looking for where to get the funds, it's a little ambiguous there. So having a specific dedicated executive retreat line item seems to would make things easier for the planning and of that event, as it gives a designated budget and everything.
Yes, Cindy, go ahead.
Would it be helpful if we just called it retreat orientation and development opposed to just specifying council?
I think it would. Yes. Yeah, I think that would help.
Okay, but are you looking to increase the budget for that?
That was why I'd asked for the actuals, was because it was to look at where we'd spent in the other line items for Department 20, particularly at council expenditures and donations, to see if that was an area where we could reallocate some funding. So I know there were significant complaints from counselors about the onboarding this year, and I was hoping to be able to both hold an exec retreat and put some significant effort into alleviating those concerns for this year.
I see club funding's also gone up by about 60 grand, which makes sense considering all the stuff that's been happening this year. Yeah, okay.
Thank you guys for letting me listen in. I look forward to meeting you all as well. Thank you. You can stay if you want.
Are you good with the questions?
I'll get with the questions. I'll bring it up at PASC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy, you got a list?
Okay, well, if he's gonna bring it up at PASC, that works too. I was just gonna say there's the option is for exec to suggest edits to the budget by removing council from that retreat line item and suggesting a budget. But like, you know, if Sam would rather take a look at the actuals first and then have FASC decide, that's an option too. So we can move forward that way.
Wait, hold on. If we're going to move forward with a suggestion, then are we approving this budget, this meeting, or is that going to be put on hold?
That is.
If execs don't have any issues with this budget as presented, then we would move it accordingly, like the draft version. But if you'd like to suggest edits, then we can move it with the suggested amendments, and that would be draft 3. But if you'd rather FASC kind of review the changes discussed here, that's also an option. So you can pass this and have FASC make the edits.
Okay, so then after FASC makes the edits, would we need to come back, bring this back, like bring draft 3 back to another exec meeting later on and approve draft 3 finally? Yes, and do.
You wouldn't. It would go to council, and then council would be approving the final one. And the reason we're trying to do this earlier is so that we have 2 chances for council, so that council has 1 meeting to review, and if there's a significant amount of changes, we can take it back to the final meeting to have the final version approved.
All right. So I guess the general consensus is to pass this budget as the version as it is, and then move the suggestions to FASC.
Can I just confirm that Thomas is going to be attending FASC?
Oh, yeah. In case you didn't hear, like Sam wants to confirm if Thomas is going to be at the FASC meeting later. 3:30, right? 3:30.
Yeah.
Thomas?
I'd suggest doing it now. Otherwise, I don't want to take too much more of your time with the meeting.
Yeah, Liam, what's up?
Oh, yeah, Sam wants to know if you're going to be at the FASC meeting later on. He just wants to make sure there's going to be quorum.
Wait, what time is it?
It's happening at 3:30.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, then.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you so much, and thank you, Liam.
goodbye. So
Bye.
I guess the idea is to first of all move on with approving this thing right now. I'm gonna wait for any more possible lists from anyone. No, I don't think so. All right, then with that being said, I'm going to move to approve this motion. I think so. Yeah, okay. So be it resolved that the execs approve the second draft budget for this meeting. I'm gonna seek unanimous consent. I am receiving no dissent. That is just as well. We can consider this officially approved in this meeting. Well done, well done. Yes, Jad.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. This is going to be seen at FASC as well. And just for formality reasons, we will get this approved at FASC too. I got to head out now. But nonetheless, I do thank you all for your time.
Thank you kindly as well, Jad. And also Kurt for your time being here. I think, yeah, we should still have quorum.
No, we've lost them.
Thomas, Priyanka, you, and I. That's still 4. I think we can still survive.
Oh yes, I didn't say Priyanka there, sorry.
Very nice, very nice. All right, then. I'm going to quickly move on to 9.1, free breakfast funding. I move. Anyone care to second?
Events.
Events seconds, whereas the SFSS free breakfast funding has been used up to provide previous free breakfast events, be it resolved to pass $1,500 from line 823-20 to fund free breakfast events for the rest of the term. Now is the time for list. I will list myself. What is line item 823-20? Hello.
I'm just gonna take a swing and assume that that's the University Academic Affairs Committee line item.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it is the university committee.
Sick. Nice, nice, nice. Second list, Thomas, do you think this will be enough? Thomas? Yes, I do.
I'm not sure what conversations Thomas has been having with staff or anyone else, but this would just be for the remainder of the term, and we usually only do one breakfast per week. So there's only a couple weeks left. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's more than fine. I'm going to move to seek unanimous consent. And I'm also receiving no dissent. Then I'd like to say that this motion passes unanimously. Well done. Very nice. Both motions passed, double checking. There's nothing else onto our agenda. I'm going to cautiously then move on to adjournment. I move. Anyone like to second?
Event.
I hear event seconds. Okay, be it resolved to adjourn this meeting at 1:35 p.m. Looking for unanimous consent. Receiving no dissent. That is very good. We can officially consider ourselves adjourned.